What's up, guys, and welcome back to episode 7 of Feed the Beast Interactions. So, last episode we got our first couple of LV machines and progressed magic just a little bit, building the next tier of the Astral Altar and making Formium. In between episodes, I did do a little bit. We made this last episode, but I lost the footage. It's a basic bending machine, which makes the plates one plate for one ingot. I also made a chemical reactor, a basic assembling machine, and I got this basic fluid solidifier from a quest. The reason I made these machines, the chemical reactor lets me take resin, which I'm producing with the machine outside, which we'll get to in a minute, along with sulfur, which I got from the nether, which we also did last episode. That lets me make rubber, and then I can use the assembling machine to, as well as produce certain components slightly cheaper. They can use it to coat wires now, so there's no more needing to use black wool and string to make makeshift wires. Well, it wasn't even black wool, it was carpet. Can't imagine that works particularly well as insulation. Also, I made this arboreal extractor, which just grabs the resin. This just saves me from having to keep chopping down these rubber trees and then extract the rubber just to get the same thing that I'm getting from one machine without power next to a tree. I also got this, which was the other reason I built the assembler, because we needed it to get these storage modules. Finally, I can move away from chests just full of crap and have this pretty nice storage system. It's not the best, but it's definitely a step up from chests. And we can also interlink this when we get around to it with logistics pipes to make a storage system that features multiple of these and a crafting table and like remote request and stuff like that. So that will be really fun. Now, today, there's a couple of things I want to get done. I want to make a few more LV machines and probably a battery buffer, because we're getting quite a few machines now, and I'm just powering these with 2 turbines, which is 2 amps of power, and each of these machines requires 1 amp. If I put a battery buffer in between the turbines and the machines and put, say for example, 8 batteries in it, then when the batteries are charged, we can actually output 8 amps of power, which would let us run up to 8 machines at once without them running out of power for as long as the batteries are filled. Once the batteries are empty, you have to wait for them to refill again, obviously, which will take a while. We'll need 2 amps of input. But first of all, what I'd like to do is this quest right here. I've already done the crafting for it to upgrade our infernal furnace into a hellfire kiln. This was actually really simple craft. It was just the blueprint, which was all materials we've used before. Just the devil dust, which is the low covalence dust in fire. And the vents just took the arcane bellows that we already had, the firebox casings, which were the same as what we made for the coke ovens, and then just a rotor and some plates. And the machine controller is the same as the one we made before. And this works exactly the same as the machine that we had in our base before, but this doesn't create the Stormcraft warp, which is a big benefit. There we go. Now this will let us produce steel, and I think there's a couple of other recipes it does without having to worry about creating warp. Now, I think the next machine that I'd like to make is an alloy smelter, because I'm a bit sick of having to use the one back at the Steam setup. So in order to make an alloy smelter, it's some 4x copper wires, 2 tin cables, 2 basic circuits, and a machine case. You can see we don't have the wires or the machine hull. Now, I believe we have some copper wire. Or maybe we don't. Oh, we do. It's up here. Make 8 of the 2x and then 4 of the 4x. And then we just need a machine hull. So we will need 2 tin cables for that. And hopefully I have enough steel left. I do. I'll just make that here because I already have the recipe on the other one. Oh, it's literally in my inventory. Me being dumb. And that is far easier than how we've been doing it so far. Do we have any more blue steel? We do. We have one more. And we can just pop this on the end here. And there we go. Fantastic. Right. Next, I do want to make the rest of these machines, but I think I will pause here to make batteries. Now we can get one from a quest here. I'm not sure what the best type of battery to be making is. Obviously the cadmium's the best, but I don't think we can get this yet. Centrifuge, right. No, there's no way we can get that. Lithium. Okay, so the quest book says we can get lithium using these tiny piles of lithium dust that we get from liquid lithium, which comes from centrifuging brine, and it also gives us salt water, which will be good for making chlorine, which we will need a lot of. And this brine can be made in this thermal evaporation controller from Mechanism. And we do have a quest for this. Doesn't look too terrible to make. It's just some bronze and some steel. That's a little bit expensive, but have everything for it. And it looks like it gives us most of the blocks as well once we create the controller and the valve. And this also leads to making cryoethium and pyroethium. Cryoethium? Yeah, that's the one. Which will be important later on. So I think that's what we're going to work on next. Also, something else that I discovered between episodes that people might have noticed last time is I didn't actually need this electric pump on the side of the barrel. I haven't made a crowbar yet, so I haven't taken it off yet. But this was not moving fast enough to actually power both of these steam turbines if I was using both of them at once. And I got this from a quest reward, and you can actually shift and right click to set them to normal, push, pull, and having this on pull draws enough steam to power these turbines, which is great. Being able to do these crafts in the assembling machine is so much nicer. It doesn't take any less time, which not having to worry about the tools being able to just throw it all into the machine. It's so much better. I think we're good to go with this now. So we'll need the valve and also the controller. There we go. And that will give us a bunch of these thermal evaporation blocks, which I assume we will need to make the multi-block. It would be really nice if I had a diagram of how to build this. I'll be back in a moment when I figure this out. Okay. I had to look this up on the wiki, but it turns out it's just a 4x4. The bottom layer is solid, the others are just hollow. Like so. The valve and the controller can go anywhere, and I've just got an effortful urn at the back, which is just putting water into this. Now it is producing brine, albeit very slowly at the moment. There is another quest where we can connect a resistive heater or a fuel wood heater, although the fuel wood needs lithium, and seeing as I'm building this for lithium, it's a bit awkward. Although I might wait until I get some lithium and then make this, because I don't have a source of normal RF power, and I'm not sure if it takes EU. It's all the way over there. It's definitely an upgrade I'll consider in the future, especially if I end up using it for bulk chlorine. I know this pack does have spectre coils in it, which would be a really good way to be a really good way to power one. But for now, I'm just going to let it tick slowly. Next to it, we're just going to make this basic centrifuge while we wait for the brine. This is really easy. We already have everything for it. Just circuits, motors, tin cables, machine halt. And we can pop this down over here. We'd have some more blue steel cable in here. Now let's see how this thermal evaporator is going. Okay, so we do have our first bucket of brine. So what we can do is just take this and put this through the centrifuge. Now I think this makes 1 bucket of chlorine, but it only makes 100 millibuckets of lithium. There we go. It makes the salt water, sorry, which we then we can turn into chlorine. Yeah, it just makes 100 millibuckets of liquid lithium. And in order to make actual lithium, because we don't have the potassium dust, and I don't think we can get it yet. So I haven't found any rock salt. And the only other LV recipe is this potash, which I don't know how to get, if I can get it. We're going to have to just like recentrifuge this. And every 100 millibuckets is 1 tiny pile. I'm going to need 16 of these to make the first battery, which will let us speed up the evaporator. Means we're going to need 16 buckets of brine. So it's going to take a little while. So I will probably go mining and stock up on some resources and just leave this chunk loaded and processing in the background. Something else that I did between episodes was I made this Craig Tech scanner. It has EMC. I don't remember seeing the actual scanner in the table. Maybe I just never had enough EMC in there. I'm not entirely sure. But, It's really easy to craft anyway once I had the nether quartz plates. And this just makes finding the veins a bit easier. I've put a couple of range upgrades in here, so range is pretty good, although I still can't see anything from in here. I think it's about 72 blocks range. Should be able to see the coal vein from here, I think. Yeah, there we go. It just makes there's a couple of times I've had to like dig around down there because you don't know exactly where the ore's going to be if you're not sure on the Y level. It's a bit awkward to find sometimes. So this is a really nice find, and it made it really easy to find sulfur in the nether because it doesn't have the flowers showing where stuff is. I figure it's probably about time that we make a lathe as well. This will give us 2 rods for every ingot rather than 1 to 1 and save us a lot of file durability. I keep saying I'll make this later and then I end up filing 20-30 rods and it's just a waste of materials. Really easy craft. Got everything for it already. We're just waiting on our last bucket pretty much, I think, now of brine. I've been mining and I gathered up some diamond ore, but in order to process this, it looks like probably going to want to have an ore washer and then a sifter, as these give the best outputs. Now, I think I've got everything ready to craft one of those. I had to go to the nether to mine some zinc as well. Got some sphalerite for these item filters. And these are just plates put through the metal bender again with a different circuit number. We should be able to craft 2 of these. And then that's our basic sifting machine. And then we're also going to need the washing plant. And I think I got everything ready for this already. Yep, there we go. And these 2 machines will let us, like I say, process gemstones, which will also be useful if I can find some sapphire, because we can start getting ready to turn it into aquamarine. And now we have enough liquid lithium that we should be able to make our first lithium battery and speed up the thermal reservoir. It's taken about 2.5 hours to do all of that, but I've had plenty of other things to be getting on with, so it's not that bad. Now we just centrifuge this again, and for each time this runs through we should get these tiny piles of lithium dust, 9 of which makes a big lithium dust. And these we then need to use a canning machine, I think. What am I missing? I'm in the wrong thing. Yeah, so with a canning machine we can then put these into small battery holes. I'm going to need to make a canning machine. This doesn't look too difficult. I might have to make some more glass up, but we shall have a quick look. Glass is a bit of a pain in this pack. You can't just smelt sand for it. That is not the right machine. Canning machine. Yeah, and I'm going to need to make an LV machine hole for that as well. So I'll be back in a minute or 2 and we'll get that crafted. Okay, we have everything for the canning machine now. You can take this down here and pop it on the line. Now, in order to make the batteries that we actually put the lithium in, we need to make these empty battery holes first, which require battery alloy plate and tin wire. And the battery alloy is lead and antimony. And the antimony comes from stibnite ore, which you can get in the nether. It might be in the overworld, I'm not sure. But, got 16 earlier from the quest book for something, so I've just processed those up. I'm going to throw some in the alloy smelter. I also already made some plates. So we'll grab this. And then we'll also grab, this should be done processing our lithium. And now we can 2 pieces of lithium, that should be a quest. Do we have tin cable? We do. It's enough to make 3 for now, but we can only actually make 1 battery. And then if we put this into the canning machine with our 2 lithium, finally there we are, a small lithium battery. Now we went through all of this rabbit hole in order to, not that tab, in order to make, instead of the resistive heater, this fuel wood heater. And this needs some coke bricks, tin plates, rad alloy cable and an LV machine casing. I have to make up another machine casing and the tin plates, and I've still got some coke oven bricks left over from when we switched from the basic to the advanced one, so this one should be really easy to make, I think. And there's everything for our fuel wood heater. Now, with any luck, should be able to grab a stack of logs out of here. I'm not entirely sure whether this hatch will work for both the heat and the water at the same time. I guess we'll find out. I also really want to know what this Mr. American chick does. I've been eyeing this quest reward for a while. We'll just grab those pipes. What does this guy do? This guy gives us black banners. I guess that was worth it. I'm not really sure what to say to that. Now, if we put this fuel wood heater down, we have to set sides? No, I don't think so. We connect that like that and chuck some wood in there. And then how's this doing? Okay, yeah, so this temperature is now flying up. We were only making like 1 millibucket a second or a tick or something, and now, yeah, I don't think we're going to worry too much about lithium anymore. Okay, so I'll let this thing heat all the way up to maximum, and then we'll take this brine out and see how quickly it produces now. Oh, that is so much better. I haven't finished making the batteries yet, so I won't hook this up yet, but we can make this low voltage battery buffer. It's just a whole 4x tin wires and a chest. That's nice and easy. That's the wrong one. I want the 9 slot one. So it's the 8x tin wire. There we go. I'm just going to put 8 batteries in there, and that'll let us power 8 machines at once, as long as all the batteries have power. There's just one more thing I'd like to try and get finished off today, and I've been working on this like a bit on the side while we were waiting for the brine. And that is, I want to get this electric blast furnace built. Now this will let me make steel for cheaper, less coal anyway, and less different processes, and it'll also let us process higher tier materials and start working towards the MV age, although I'm not quite ready to go that far yet. Now, I already made these heat-proof machine casings, and these are just Invar plates and Invar frames, which is just more Invar plates and rods. It's just a lot of Invar, really. Now, we still need this furnace. I think we should have everything for that. And then we should be able to make this control block. These are graphite plates, which is why I ended up going to that diamond vein, because that's where you get graphite from. So that's the electric blast furnace itself. And then we will also need an input bus for slot 1 is absolutely fine. An output bus, again, for slot 1, absolutely fine. Input hatch for fluids. Oh, I'm just grabbing random things here. Output hatch for fluids. And then finally, tell me I'm out of tin cable. I think I might be tin cable. I am, but I just need to make this energy hatch, which is just a hole and a tin cable. So I'll make this and then we will get to building it. Okay, I believe we should have everything. The one thing that I didn't mention was these cupronickel coil blocks. These were really easy again. It's just the 2x cupronickel wires in an assembler. You need about 2 stacks of cupronickel to make all of the coil blocks for one blast furnace. And it's just copper and nickel, so 1 stack of copper and 1 stack of nickel is enough to make all of it. I also made 2 of these energy input hatches so that we can power it to MV, which we'll need to produce aluminium. There we go, that's the multi-block. Can't power it right now because I'm going to need to bring 4 amps of LV energy up here, so I'm going to need to make 4 turbines and pipe all the steam up here. But I'll get this up and running before the next episode. One other thing I found out today, if you wonder where all my health goes throughout the episode, it's from jumping off of these ledges. I've set this up to 100%, and I do seem to be stable on coke coal now. I wasn't at the start, but it seems to settle out. I'm not making any extra creosote, but I'm fine with this for now because I can just make another oven if I need creosote. Or I can set it to priority fill the tank, and then I'd need more fluid conduits of the same type, so I could priority fill the tank and then put all the rest into the boiler, and then I'd always have at least a buffer. But I'll figure that out when I need to. In between episodes, there's a couple more LV machines I want to make, so I'll probably do that, and I'll make up the batteries for this. And I should probably, you know, put a bit more work into building the base. I'll try not to do anything really progression-wise. And then next episode, I'd quite like to take a look at magic, because we haven't even started Britannia, really. We haven't started blood magic. There's a bunch of like really interesting stuff in astral sorcery that we haven't really touched, and the same with Thorncraft. So yeah, I think we'll have a play around with magic next episode. As always, leave any feedback you've got in the comments. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.